As a master of the Jarkai style of lightsaber combat, Asajj Ventress became renowned for her use of two red-bladed lightsabers, in which she wielded throughout the Clone Wars. After becoming Count Dooku's secret Sith apprentice and assassin, Ventress would wield these lightsabers in combat against some of the most powerful Jedi within the Jedi Order, including Aayla Secura, Obi-Wan Kenobi, and Anakin Skywalker. But how did Ventress, a former Jedi Padawan, come to obtain the two red-bladed lightsabers after her fall to the dark side of the Force? In this installment of the Canon Versus Legends Series, I will describe the origins of Asajj Ventress's red-bladed lightsabers and explain how she came into possession of them as it was seen within the canon and how it occurred in Legends. Let's start with the canon version of events. In the latter years of the Galactic Republic, Asajj Ventress was born on the planet of Dathomir, and raised by a mother who was part of the Night Sisters, a clan of witches who could utilize the Force through the form of magic. When still only an infant, the leader of the Night Sisters, Mother Talzin, who was a powerful caster of spells and had previously been an associate of the Sith, arranged for Ventress to be surrendered by her mother as a slave to the criminal Halstead, in order to protect the clan from the threat that the criminal represented. Ventress was taken by Halstead to the planet of Ratatak, a world that was plagued by violence as it was ruled by warlords and encountered perpetual attacks and raids from bands of pirates. Although Ventress was raised as a slave in the service of Halstead, he was unexpectedly kind to her, and when he was killed during a pirate uprising, Ventress grieved the death of her former master. During Ventress's grieving of Halstead, Jedi Knight Kai Narek appeared, and after recognizing Ventress's potential with the Force, Narek took Ventress, who was still only a young child, into his protection and made her his Jedi Padawan. Ventress trained in the ways of the Jedi Order under the tutelage of Narek for 10 years, wherein they protected Ratatak's population from the dangers presented by the planet's warlords and pirates. During her training under Narek, Ventress wielded a green lightsaber with a standard cylindrical hilt, which was similar to that used by her master. While Ventress and Narek were defending the people of Ratatak from pirates, Narek was shot and killed. Upon her master's death, a devastated Ventress took up Narek's lightsaber, and she cut down the pirates who ended his life. Narek's death caused Ventress to embrace the dark side of the Force. Seeking vengeance and retribution for the death of her master, Ventress declared war upon the warlords and pirates of Ratatak. Ultimately, she was victorious in her quest to rid the planet of these elements, and upon doing so, she claimed the planet for herself and ruled it in place of those she had just deposed. These actions taken by Ventress were crucial to the origins of how she obtained her two red-bladed lightsabers, as eventually, Count Dooku took notice of her power in the dark side of the Force. Dooku, who had been seeking an apprentice to help him overthrow his master Darth Sidious and claim the title of Dark Lord of the Sith for himself, recruited Ventress as his secret Sith apprentice and dark side assassin. Eager to embrace the power that could be provided to her through the Sith, as well as to seek revenge against the Jedi, Ventress accepted Dooku's offer and joined him. After their initial meeting on Ratatak, Ventress traveled to Dooku's palace on the planet of Sereno, and pledged herself to him as his apprentice. Upon agreeing to serve Dooku, he provided his new apprentice with two red-bladed lightsabers, which she then adopted and utilized throughout the Clone Wars. These lightsabers, which had a curved hilt similar to that of the lightsaber used by her new master, could be wielded separately or joined together to fashion a double-bladed lightsaber. Even after Dooku betrayed and attempted to kill Ventress, she still continued to wield these red-bladed lightsabers that were provided to her by him. It wasn't until Ventress's red lightsabers were stolen by Barriss Offee as part of her plot to bomb the Jedi Temple that she discontinued to use them, at which point she replaced the two red-bladed lightsabers given to her by Dooku with a single-bladed yellow lightsaber. So there's the canon version of how Asajj Ventress received her red-bladed lightsabers. Let's take a look at how Ventress ended up in possession of these lightsabers as it happened in Legends. The early life of Asajj Ventress that was seen in Legends shared many similarities with the canon. Similar to the canon version, Ventress was born on Dathomir to a mother who was part of the Night Sisters. Her mother was forced to give Ventress to the criminal Halstead, who brought her to the planet of Ratatak. she was taken in by Jedi Knight Narek when Halstead was killed, and trained in the ways of the Jedi by Narek, and was pushed towards the dark side when Narek was killed. However, after Narek's death, the way in which Ventress received her red-bladed lightsabers in Legends begins to differ from that seen in the canon, wherein the source of the red lightsabers also had a different and more significant origin themselves. Following the death of her Jedi Master, Ventress took control of Ratatak by removing the warlords who previously plagued the planet and held control of it at the time the Clone Wars began. After Count Dooku's acolyte Severance Tan was killed, Dooku conducted a search for a new individual who could serve his Confederacy of Independent Systems in a leadership role. As part of his search, Dooku traveled to Ratatak, wherein he would observe a contest between a number of gladiators within a gladiatorial arena named the Cauldron, in hopes of finding a candidate worthy of commanding the Separatist army. As the combatants engaged each other in the Cauldron, Ventress hoped to gain the favor of Dooku by abruptly dispatching the individual who'd been observing the contest with him. Although she had flawlessly removed this individual, Dooku informed Ventress that while he was impressed with her abilities of infiltration, he was not in search of someone who possessed skills as a spy. Rather, he sought an individual who possessed the necessary skills in combat. With that, Ventress entered the Cauldron to engage the other gladiators in combat. After easily defeating the other competitors, Dooku informed Ventress that he was impressed with her abilities, and that she was much more powerful than he had initially sensed. However, after she declared herself to be a Sith, Dooku became irritated at her claim, and told her that she possessed far too much fear to be considered a true Sith. When Ventress then attempted to engage Dooku in lightsaber combat, Dooku blasted her with Force Lightning, causing Ventress to lose consciousness. When Ventress regained consciousness, Dooku emerged and engaged her in lightsaber combat. Ultimately, Dooku defeated Ventress in their duel, during which he destroyed both of her lightsabers. After the duel, Dooku's master Darth Sidious appeared via hologram, revealing that he'd been observing the duel the entire time. Sidious found Ventress's skills to be impressive, and acknowledged that she was worthy to be taken on as Dooku's disciple and serve to further the plans of the Sith. After Sidious approved and accepted Dooku's choice of disciple, Sidious tasked Ventress to locate and kill Anakin Skywalker. In order for Ventress to carry out this order, Dooku provided her with a gift, 2 red-bladed lightsabers. In Legends, these identical red lightsabers had previously belonged to a former Jedi Padawan of Dooku named Komari Vosa. A once promising student in the Jedi Order under the tutelage of Dooku, and an accomplished lightsaber duelist in her own right, Komari Vosa created the twin red-bladed lightsabers with synthetic crystals and a curved hilt like her former master Dooku's lightsaber, after she fell to the dark side of the Force. Further, the 2 lightsabers could be joined together to form a saber staff. After her fall to the dark side, Vosa went on to become the leader of the Bando Gora cult, wherein she turned the organization into one that was well respected within the criminal underworld and expanded the Bora Gora's influence and power throughout the galaxy. Dooku's coming into possession of his former Padawan's red lightsabers, which thereby allowed him to gift them to Ventress, began when Sidious recognized the threat that the Bando Gora and Vosa represented to the plans of the Sith. Finding Vosa to be a potential barrier to the future that he desired, Sidious ordered Dooku to find and kill Vosa, to which Dooku complied. In order to carry out the murder, Dooku placed a significant bounty of 5 million Republic credits on Vosa. Ultimately, the bounty hunter Jango Fett was able to locate Vosa and defeat her in combat. Although Jango was going to let her live and deliver her to Dooku alive, Dooku had been present during the entirety of their duel, and when he emerged after Vosa's subsequent defeat, Dooku force-choked his former Padawan and killed her. Following her death, Dooku took her lightsabers into his possession and held onto them for roughly a decade, until he ultimately gave the 2 red-bladed lightsabers to his new disciple Ventress after she proved to be worthy on Ratatak. So there we have it, how Asajj Ventress came into possession of her 2 red-bladed lightsabers, and the origins of these weapons, as it was seen in both the canon and in Legends. We love making these videos, so why not subscribe for more fun Star Wars theories and discussions? Also, if you enjoyed the video, think about giving a like or leaving a comment. If not for me, for in memory of Crutch.